Rafting escapades. This is Ajay, your host, an ordinary Maverick sharing real life thoughts, experiences, and Maverick tips. In today's podcast, I'm going to share some experiences with rafting and navigating rapids. Have you ever had the thought that navigating rapids down the river can be a lot like navigating the journey of life? Well, think about it. The calmness of the river during the quiet periods, and then the adrenaline rush of going through a rapid, the sense of victory over successfully navigating one, and believe me, the sense of fear of defeat when the raft topples over. Wow, what an exciting ride. It feels like repeating when victorious, and if not, well, one can be put off rafting forever. Well, being a Maverick family, we love adventure sports. You can name it skydiving, bungee jumping, trekking, kloofing. Have you all heard about kloofing? I'll leave it for another time. For the moment, let's talk about rafting. I enjoy rafting. Actually, come to think of it, it's something that I tried very late in my life. I remember the first rafting trip down the Himalayas as a family. We did manage a successful trip, and in rafting term, that means we didn't go overboard. Although there was one major rapid, and on this particular rapid, we as a family almost jumped up something like 10 to 15 feet, and as luck would have it, we fell back in the raft, screaming and feeling the rush down our very bones. After the Himalayas came the rapids down the Tugela River in South Africa and the Orange River in Namibia. Wow, speaking about these trips actually brings back some wonderful memories, and you know what gives me the goosebumps? I close my eyes and I can actually visualize myself at that moment. So here's the Maverick tip. Key moments in your life, savor them. Be in the moment. And when you're in that moment, the mind kind of registers everything down to the last detail. You can then bring back the moment anytime and savor the feeling. Now, of course, this works for both ways, the good and the not so good moments. For today, let's savor the good moments and transport yourself to the good time. We often speak about our rafting escapades as a family, and one of the trips really stands out, it's crystal clear in our memories. Have you realized that, when many of us go through the same experiences, probably at the same exact moment, and each one of us actually has a different kind of experience and have a different way of looking at it and feeling it, and that's the prism effect. It all depends on how one looks at it and is the foundation of our reactions. Pretty fascinating, right? So let's get back to the river now. It was one of our family trips with my wife and daughters. It was a fine morning. We reached the starting point on time, met with the rest of the team. It was then that we found out that these were grade 3 to 5 rapids. And what does that really mean is that, a grade 4 or 4 plus are described as extremely long, obstructed, or very violent rapids which expose a paddler to added risk. Drops may contain large, unavoidable waves and holes or steep, congested chutes with complex, demanding routes. Don't they say ignorance is bliss? Well, we had no idea about the grades, and especially a grade 4 plus rapid meant. Would we have taken the trip had we known about it? Well, yes, of course, we would have taken the trip. So here we all are there, ready in our canoes. I was with my elder daughter and my wife was with my younger one. Both our girls were teenagers at that point in time and just like us, loved adventure. We set out after learning all the signals for rafting. For those who have done rafting earlier, you'll know what I'm talking about. The special rafting signals. Here's another tip. Do pay attention to these. You never know when you will need them. We start our trip and on our way in our canoes. And there comes the first rapid. A canoe with myself and my daughter, we navigate and manage the steep fall, the turbulent waters, and reach the bottom where the water was calmer. We look back and see other canoes coming in as well. We see my younger daughter coming through the waters, and then we see she's alone. For a moment, I was a bit confused. Where's my wife? And then my daughter's canoe comes closer enough and she shouts out, "Mom fell out." We burst out laughing and we then looked around other canoes and generally just waited for the guides to help out. A few minutes later, we saw that a canoe is coming down. My wife is in it along with the guide and she's smiling. We all cheered and continued our journey down the river. Now here comes the prism effect. On the one hand, here we were, my daughters and myself, finding a bit of humor in the situation of my wife having fallen off the canoe and thinking this was definitely a memorable trip, happy that we accomplished and signed off another rafting holiday. However, when we asked my wife about her experience, trust me, it was completely different. The moments right before she fell off the canoe, the thrashing of her body against the rocks, the feeling of helplessness, the instructions coming back, praying that our daughter was fine and had made it to the bottom of that rapid, clinging onto a rock desperately as the water kept gushing all around her, seeing the guide trying to help her and waiting for further help to arrive. Well, it took a lot of courage to get back on the canoe and complete that trip. And by the way, that was the first rapid, and there were many more to come. Later, the guide told us that he had checked with my wife if she wanted to go ahead or call it a day and go back to base. But we are a Maverick family, and remember the formula of falling forward. Always go forward, never look back. In those moments of crisis, remember the instructions. If you dig deep, there's always instructions. Mind flashbacks that help you stay calm. It may be falling off a canoe in a grade 4 rapid or some other disaster in life, like losing your job, hearing some bad news. Well, calm your mind and fall forward. Keep going, and the calm will come after the storm. We have had many rafting trips after that one, and I do believe had we aborted that trip, it would have had an impact on all of us, including our children. Yes, one doesn't need to take needless risks, and yet one still needs to fall forward. Keep going. Write your comments, share your feedback. I would love to hear from you. And for some more Maverick tips, do subscribe to the Ordinary Maverick podcast. This is Ajay signing off and wishing you all the very best. Keep well.